Next we have Jay. He's from Stormwater Engineering, and I'll let you introduce yourself. He's going to go over the ITID drainage. He's going to give us an overview of it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'm Jay Foy, the district engineer. I've been associated with the drainage out here for all but 5 years, since 1991. There might not be anybody else in the county, state, or world that knows much about the drainage system. I will speak to you about the drainage system from the engineer's perspective. I do interface with the operations, but I don't get involved in the day-to-day maintenance. That's the district's job. I stuck together slides that I've had from different presentations. Since this is my passion, I could probably go on for hours, so what I'm going to do is really hit this quick, and you're welcome to ask any question at any time, but I will be going through it extremely quickly, not in detail. I wish we had a digital screen. This is the Indian Trail Improvement District legislative boundary. There's a little area up here. It goes all the way out past the LA Canal, past that 20-mile bend. Does not include Seminole Improvement District, now Westlake. It does include what's the M2 basin. It does include Royal Palm, but they're not activated. The activated units are the M1 basin, shaded area, and the M2 basin, which is also shaded. Oh, you can flip it. That'll help me if
The right click? Or
there's a button page down on top. I don't know how it works off of that. But yeah,
Page down?
I think that's it. This is depiction in the M1 basin, which is about 29 square miles of the canals, the blue. So, yep. You have about 160 miles of canals total. This is the M1 basin has most of them. Just as an interesting factoid, the lowest areas have the most dense canals. You need more canals to drain the lower areas because they drain easier to the higher areas. Next one. You went page up. Go down.
The other page.
What area is that M1? What area are you talking about there?
Go back up, page up. Okay.
What streets are in there?
This is 40th Street.
Okay,
This is the State Road 7 extension.
okay,
We go all the way out to 180th and 190th here.
all right.
And North Lake runs across here.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. This is the M2 basin. Seminole Pratt-Whitney Road goes right through the eastern part. A much smaller basin, but this is here to show you the canal network. These are the control structures. I've got another graphic that shows you a little better, but control structures mean we have the ability to operate, to do something with those structures. They aren't just sitting there and water flows over them. It includes pumps and overflows and gates, etc. Next slide. I could spend a lot of time on this one, but it won't mean a whole lot to you unless I go into details of each, but this is the M1 basin. Basically, there's two basins, the lower basin and the upper basin. We pump, we can discharge in two directions, but by permanent on-peak discharge, that means no matter what, we can discharge this way. We pump from the lower basin to the upper basin. We pump again into an impoundment, 720-acre impoundment. It outflows to LA Canal, back down around, and back to the C51 Canal. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense because we can also discharge by gravity this way, directly. And we do that most of the time now. We don't discharge out to the L8 hardly at all, even though that's the way our primary permit reads from South Florida. We save a lot of pumping dollars, tens of thousands of dollars a year, by discharging gravity through two structures here. One's called the Roach structure because of a gentleman named Mr. Roach, not because of the insect, and the 40th Street structure. And it goes through a structure that is also ours, the Angle Gate down here at Southern. We own, the Indian Trail Improvement District owns this canal through Royal Palm Beach. We also drain Royal Palm Beach.
Jay, do we have the ability to go the other way from the impoundment?
We do not currently.
Okay.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Jay, while obviously the high impound area is higher in elevation than the low, with the 750 that you pointed way over on the left of the screen. Is that a high or a low spot compared to the high impound area, the higher?
The upper basin.
The upper basin.
The lower basin's general elevations are started at 18 and go up to about 20.
Right?
This basin's ground elevations, and I'm talking MGD if that means anything to you. This goes from, there are some low areas that might be 19, but it goes up to 22 around in the center.
Okay.
It actually goes down this area, but since it's pumped, it really doesn't
Right.
matter. This ground elevation is about 20 and a half.
Okay.
We have it burned up to elevation 29.5. We can only put water in it to 24.5. So we can put 4 feet of water on top of the ground.
And what is Mecca and the Corvette?
Mecca is, except for our impoundment, it's this triangle.
Yeah, and
Corbett is this entire area up here, and now includes
what level, what,
all the ground.
yeah.
The ground falls, this is actually a high spot.
Mhm.
Ground falls off in all directions. The ground slopes towards the LA Canal.
Okay.
It goes from 20.5 to about 17 to 18 here, it flows this way. And Corbett, in this area, historically drained towards us, but now it drains
Toward
towards the
North Yankee
northeast. Yeah.
Is it true that if we have one of those 100-year rains like we did 5 years ago, that they're not going to bother helping us because if they let the water out, it'll flood West Palm Beach? Because I went from a non-flood zone the next day that I bought my house to a flood zone because they said they're not going to, we're the ones who are going to suffer, not West Palm Beach or Palm Beach. Is that true?
If I'm giving you a yes/no answer, the answer is yes. You're not going to like that, but the answer is yes. And a couple things. One, in 2012, you had Isaac, which was roughly 17, 18 inches of rain in this area. That was well in excess of the 100-year storm, and we should have had high water. The problem was it lasted too long. When I talked about peak discharge, I'll get into this later, but when I talked about peak discharge, you only allow 1/4 of an inch per day. So you have the capacity in the M1 basin to discharge about 2 inches a day. But the regulatory restrictions won't let us do it until after, we're the last people off the bus.
Right.
When everybody else drains, then we can.
I just wanted to hear from the horse's mouth.
Mr. Foy was not here during Tropical Storm Isaac, I will point that out. You weren't, right? We
I
brought you
was
back.
not here during Isaac.
Yeah.
You would have still had flooding. We would have
Yeah.
potentially drained more before the storm, and we would have argued hard after the storm, but I can't tell you that the regulatory constraints in place do exactly what you say. Now, I'm going to address solutions to that, but that doesn't mean that if we have another Isaac, that the water levels won't go up as high. They will.
We'll probably drain faster.
What we're trying to achieve is getting down a lot quicker. Yes, sir.
I have 2 questions. One, do we drain into grassy waters at all?
We do not currently, and there was something on the books to potentially do that, but that, I'll show you later. It was a pump from our L Canal.
Because I've lived out here
That
6
did not
years,
go.
and it's the driest I've ever seen there. It's like, there are spots where there's no water.
Let me tell you just a quick answer to that, and that is that there was a time when they wanted our water and there was a huge guffaw over it, okay? So they want our water and,
There was, in fact, in the late 90s, I believe it was, there was a pilot program where we set up a 50 CFS pump to do just what you're saying. It worked. We only had 3 issues of water quality. There were iron fecal coliforms and dissolved oxygen. Because we put the discharge pipe higher than the M canal, the dissolved oxygen actually went up. So that was not a problem. Iron is natural in groundwater, so that was deemed as not a problem. Fecal coliforms come from any warm-blooded mammal, And when it rains, all the dogs, cats, horses, whatever, the water did go over, and at times you do get high fecal outflows. So the program works.
My other question is, what's going on, for lack of a better description, by the high school, like where they're building Mintoville? I drive there from time to time, and they're like, the hydrants are open and there's water everywhere.
They're cleaning up the lines.
The what?
They have to clean up the lines.
Flushing the line.
That's disconnected from us, but that's correct. They're flushing the water lines and they're getting ready for development. It's going to be a city. So that's got nothing to do with any trail improvement district. But that is.
So they could just open the hydrants up and do that?
Well, it's for a specific purpose. They can't just open them if they want to.
Those hydrants aren't well water though, it's coming from, it's city water, county water.
Well, it's county.
So it's not coming from our
It's a
wells.
waste of water.
Yeah, it is.
The county bought Seminole Improvement District system, and it's all under county jurisdiction now. Again, that's not Indian Trail, that's not drainage, that's the water supply.
I was just curious, I've seen it 3 times now where I've driven by and they're got all the hydrants open and everything's flooded there.
That happens.
And where is Westlake gonna drain to? Where are they gonna drain?
Westlake is
I know where it is.
This here, they have an M2 canal. This is their canal that goes through the M2 basin. They will continue to drain through to the C51 canal.
So they have priority over us?
I want to say no, but they actually can tell us to, we have gates that they can tell us to shut down, but they typically don't do that. We have a deal with another slide covers that they have 2 inches per day allowed in their permit. When they got county approval, they were going to give us 1 of those inches for public benefit. But now that they're a city, that might not happen.
It's still required in their development order, so as it stands right now,
I agree with you. I won't say that it's
Yeah.
guaranteed because of their own city. They have said verbally they're going to comply with that. And I also should say that it's given to a government. It's not, we're not identified specifically as government. That number is 168 CFS. So that's our discharge on peak is 274 CFS. So you can see it's a substantial amount of water. Let me put that in different terms. 10 CFS is 5 minutes. So a medium-sized pool, swimming pool, at 168 CFS, you could drain that in a matter of about 25 seconds at that rate. That's how fast, it's not much relative to what we need. We need 1,100 CFS, but 168 CFS is a lot of water. So if we can get it, we're going to get it. Okay. This is, it shows up decent on that slide. I don't know why it's so poor here, but this is the M2 basin. It just shows where the structures are that are on the other slide I showed you. The reason I wanted to show you this, and let's back up to that slide. Keep going back.
Another back.
uh-oh,
I think you went, you must have went to the end.
I clicked N. Okay, let me go back to the
There you
beginning.
go.
There's the beginning.
Oops.
Go down page.
I
There you
can't
go.
see.
Well, there you go.
This one.
That's the same slide except it was blown up. The M2 basin they do have about 2 inches per day. So they're a bit better on peak discharge. If you live in that basin, there's an impoundment for this area. When we get excessive rains, we pump back in here, and then we have to discharge through the second canal system that we pumped out of. But you get a decent amount of discharge. There are actually 11 basins here. The big one with the impoundment. There's 10 small ones. They also get 2 inches per day. But I wanted to make the point that they have no water storage. So as soon as you fill the groundwater and you're exceeding 2 inches per day, it just floods the land. So even though they've got better discharge, they have worse protection for bigger storms. They'll drain quicker because they get to 2 inches per day. But the water will start accumulating real quick once it exceeds the capacity for all of this area, not this area. This area is good. This area, to give you a number, we won't be in trouble until we hit about 6 inches of rain, and Isaac was 17 to 18 inches of rain. So we had a whole lot more than we could handle. All right, let's try and catch up where we were before. There we go. I just threw in a few pictures to show you, showing bigger on this screen, some of our facilities. This is the Angle Gate down in Laurel Palm Beach. It's 2 of them. Go to the next slide. This is when we fixed it, we maintained it. This shows you looking from the Southern Boulevard side. It's like a cup that closes. They're in the closed position here. And it swings up when it wants to release water. This gate is automatic. Whatever the water levels are, it opens automatically. This one used to be automatic, which is another big story I'm not going to get into. But you can see these little heads here. We now control those with gates. So we let water out. Whenever Indian Trail is letting water out into Laurel Palm, we open those so we get the same amount of water out of Laurel Palm. We do not affect Laurel Palm. In fact, we keep these gates open a little bit more than what we put into Laurel Palm. So since I came to the district again in 2013, we're benefiting Laurel Palm. There is no conflict between us. There had been in the past, but there is none now because we're operating to the benefit of both entities. And if you know where Lake Challengers is, it's right next to Southern Boulevard. And they have overflow structures. These elevations are the control elevation for Laurel Palm. That's how it discharges to get rid of a little bit of water. Keep going. This is the 40th Street structure. I like pictures. These are trash rakes, so we don't have to go in there do it by hand. It takes out trash as water flows through. We have 4 gates, I believe it is, on the front of this. You can only see 3. There's also gates on the side that don't do much, but the 4 in front can actually let more water go through than the pipe that goes out to Laurel Palm can handle. Next one. This is the road structure. It's at 130th and around the M1 canal, our M1 canal. It's hard to see on the screen. You might be able to see it better, but these are wing walls, concrete wing walls. They're quite large. That's the M1 canal. And there's 2 84-inch reinforced concrete culverts that can let a lot of water out, over 500 CFS, which is half of what we need.
M1 is 130th Avenue?
Yeah, this is at 130th and this is 40th Street.
Okay.
So it's where the M1 canal turns and then it goes south through Laurel Palm.
That property used to all be owned by a fellow by the name of Roach,
Right.
which is why it's called the Roach property.
Now, this is the, what do they call it, the Laurel Palm natural area?
Yeah.
So that's the natural area, and then this is the acreage down at the bottom. You're looking south in this photo. That's during construction. On the front of the road structure, we have these gates to prevent the carp, which we add to the waterways to reduce vegetation. They can't get out that way, even though the gates, but the fish can't get out that way. We have a couple of other divide structures that allow us to isolate particular areas. I didn't really want to get into this much, but they're gated structures. There's one at 122nd, and the next one is at Mango. That's the one at Mango, so we can, remember I showed you where all those, the number of canals are of higher density. This could isolate that section so you can drain it better. We have 2 inverted siphons. Inverted siphon means it goes under something. The M Canal, which is the city of West Palm, which goes into the Grassy Waters Preserve, we can't interconnect. Our water levels are lower than theirs most of the time, so we go under their canal. This one's the one near Mango.
Mango and where?
At 60th, so where the M Canal is, the city of West Palm Beach M Canal.
North end of Mango.
This was a project we did at Hamlin when we wanted to increase our capacity. That's what was there. Go ahead. This is what we put in, and it's hard to tell from the picture, but go to the next slide. Those are the 4 pipes that were there. Next slide. We essentially got the equivalent of 7 pipes You had 4, we have 2 of those 7s, we got 14 pipes where there were 4. So obviously this crossing can flow a lot more water. This is at the impoundment all the way out west of 720 acre. Both of them are operable. You can see the gates up top, so we can let more water out if we need to. That's much prettier on the screen. That's a picture of the impoundment.
Oops.
Oh, you did home again. This is a pump station. We can pump 1100 CFS. That's what we want as discharge. And there's a perimeter canal around the impoundment. It used to be wetlands like most things here. Go ahead. Oh, you went home again.
No, I pressed
Oh,
it.
no, that's, okay, you're right, you're right. These came out of the North Palm Beach County presentation. I took a few slides out of there I did in 2016. Go ahead. This is what you want to avoid?
This was Isaac.
This is exactly what you were talking about?
That's when we all have waterfront.
The bad thing about that slide is that's what happens. The good thing is you'll see that most homes did not get flooded. Almost all didn't get flooded. I will not say that this is good, not only because of the length of time, but health, safety, and welfare due to septic tanks and the exchange that can happen when you're this flooded with septic tank discharges and your wells. This is a bad situation, as well as for emergency access. We need to do something, which the board has been working on, to try to reduce the time that this happens. Go ahead. All right, I talked a little bit about this. Our perspective is a quarter inch per day is failing to serve the public. We have the facilities. I mentioned they discharge almost 2 inches per day. So we have the physical facilities constructed. Our problem now is a regulatory problem. Go ahead. In order to know what we're shooting for, you have to know what we've agreed to. Go back. We're trying to get the canal levels down to a certain, I'm not going to go into the details of this, but down to a certain level within 3 days after a storm. That's our goal, and when we show we achieve that, we have met our defined level of service. And I like to show this because sometimes people don't understand this. It is our responsibility to drain the road. If your lot happens to be lower than the swale, it's not our responsibility to drain your lot. It's your responsibility to get your lot drainage to our swale. We will accept it if you do that. Yes, sir.
In Backamy, the street in Backamy, the other side of the canal, at Mango and 52nd, what are they doing there? It's been under construction for over 5 weeks.
I know what's happening.
The whole street's torn up, the swales are torn up.
Okay. I think you're talking about JB is trying to replace culverts on Mango.
Are you talking
No,
about,
this is on 52nd, between the canal and Mango. East of Mango.
they're putting in culverts from all the feeder canals that are going into the north-south A canal. I think so that they can actually get the mowers back through there. The canals, you're talking about the east end of your road there and where the canal is, where you're talking about.
Talking the street in back of me, 52nd Street, between Mango and the canal that feeds up to 60th Street, the real wide canal.
Right, that's called A canal, I believe. It's still, it's A. that's
You
through
can
the-
find that out.
There has been heavy equipment for 5 weeks
Yeah.
waking
Yeah.
me up. You know, it's 7:30 in the morning.
They have been doing a lot
It's
of
good
work
to know they're
there.
working at 7:30.
They have been
There's
replacing.
what? What'd you say?
I said it's good to know they're working at 7:30.
No, that's just the engines running.
Hey, I don't wake up. I'm retired, Betty. I don't wake up till 9 o'clock.
But call Jim and ask him tomorrow, or come to the meeting tomorrow, and you can get specifics on what's actually.
It's like been going on for 5 weeks now.
Yeah, they've
I
been
know
going
that
up.
they're trying to take advantage of the fact that right now we don't have a lot of water in the canals, so it's a good time to be doing culverts, because you,
And they're coming
You have
up
less
the
collapse
east
in-
side of that canal. They're gonna go along and they're gonna actually put in.
It's only the one street that they've been working on. Forever.
They may end up
Yeah, that's a
redoing that
maintenance.
road.
That's maintenance, it's got to be maintenance because there's no capital improvement program that's
Yeah.
happening that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we could get that answer for you.
tomorrow.
I called and talk to the guy, Dan or Dave.
Yeah, I'll get you the information tomorrow, Howard.
He didn't know. That was about a month ago I called.
What's NGVD on the previous slide?
It's National Geodetic Vertical Datum. There's another datum out there that essentially means sea level, how many feet are above mean sea level. I am quoting that because that's what most of us are used to thinking, and that's what all the permits are cited at. The FEMA maps, when they come out, are NAVD, North American Vertical Datum. There's about a 1.5 foot difference. So this 17.5 NGVD, they would say that is 16.0. It doesn't matter to you, but if you look at the FEMA maps, they're going to be published in NAVD. We tried to convince them to also put NGVD, but they're the federal government and they will not do it.
Okay, thanks.
So going forward, what do we want to do? You have 4 basic options. Follow the federal process. I'll explain that a little. We're doing it. Check marks off, okay. Push the local initiative, and I'll explain that. Go ahead. Solve the problem on our own. And we're also trying to do that. I'll explain what we're doing. And follow up on the 1997 legal settlement. This would take board direction to do that, and it's a possibility, but there's no guarantee that you would win, and I'll explain the background of that as well. Go ahead. Follow the federal process. I'll talk about that first. This is a slide that tells you what we were trying to do in the North Palm Beach County Plan. We started to address this problem in 1995. And you don't have to understand all that, but the bottom one is included in the North County Plan was flood control, flood protection. Go ahead. That flood protection was solved for Indian Trail by using the L8 reservoir and pumping it in one of 2 directions, pumping in gravity, to get it to the Loxahatchee River, which needs water. Go ahead. This was one of my biggest disappointments. In 2012, the EPA, Water Management District, and the Department of Environmental Protection got together and said, the Everglades Restoration Project isn't working the way it should. We need to do something. So I'm putting repurposing in quotes, because that's what they keep calling it. They repurposed our L8 reservoir, the one I showed you that solved the problem. More appropriately, they stole it from us. That's what it feels like. This happened in 2012. I appeared at the Water Management District. I was the only one that objected. There was one other person who spoke against it, the board member, Ryan. But it was probably the right legal settlement, but it was not the right settlement for us, because it allowed the Everglades to comprehensive Everglades Restoration Project to move forward. All right, so it took that L8 reservoir away from us. But, all right, keep going. One more. In 2012, there's no North County plan. They decide in 2015, all right, we're going to reinstitute this. It's needed for Everglades, but we're going to do it for the Loxahatchee River. Go ahead. The Loxahatchee River goals didn't include flood protection. What they did include was environmental benefits. So we were left out. Go ahead. It's down to 5 alternatives now. Next month, we're supposed to have a PDP meeting where we get together. I've forgotten what the acronym means, PDP, but we're going to get together and see what the modeling results are of the 5 alternates chosen. I'm not going to go through what these are. That would take too much time. Go to the next one. Alternate 10, that's fine. Alternate 5, go ahead to 10. Stop on 10. This is the only one that expands. The L8 reservoir is down here. There's a C51 reservoir in the same area that does include storage. They will have about the same volumetric storage that could solve our drainage issues. And press again.
Jay, just a quick question. At the state level, in Tallahassee right now, they have certain bills for specific projects. Is there any money being requested for any of these projects? Like,
These are alternates at this current time, so until they get a tentatively selected plan, they're not allocating money towards it.
Okay,
It's a core process right now, which is mostly process. It's supposed to be a 3-year process, which they already delayed 1 year. So
okay.
we're about 1 year into the 3-year process. And once you do that, it's still got to go through the federal government to get it
But this is something that could get with the Amendment 1 funds, potentially?
I don't know the answer to that one.
Okay.
The Corps, however, does not allocate its money for land purchase. So if you did have money for land purchase, it would have to come to the state. So maybe. Right. Alternate 10 is the only one that includes some flood protection. Go ahead. There's another one that shows a little bit, but the storage that is there isn't enough to help flood protection. And I think there's a 13. And again, I'm not going to go into them. I just want to let you know there's 5 alternates. Go ahead. What a local group is, we affectionately call ourselves a gang of 8, have gotten together, the local people that are affected, it's utility companies and drainage districts, and we're pushing the one that has the extra storage. So it's essentially the one that I showed you, the alternate 10. And that includes West Palm Beach, Seacoast Utilities, Waxahachie River District, Jupiter Utilities, West Palm, I think I said West Palm Utilities. There's 6 or 8 of us, the county Urban. How do we solve the problem on our own? I'm getting close, hopefully, to the end. Go ahead. There are several things that are happening. Do nothing? Well, we're not really doing nothing. We continue to increase our conveyance capacity. We already have the capacity to discharge. There's something called an LA plan. If West Palm can accept the water, it's already in the permit, we can discharge it out to LA and they can take it in our M canal. We don't really need that pump that goes from us to the M canal. Agreement with West Palm to discharge in the M canal, that's something that's on the books, it's in the permit, but I'm not going to get into details, but the last time it was presented, it was not done well and it failed because of...
People thought West Palm Beach was trying to steal our water.
Yeah, and it was not presented very well. And the way it was presented, you could easily think that. Moss discharges, we have a pilot permit right now that allows us to discharge a little bit of water. We also have a grant to pay for half of it. And hopefully that can go to more. We have potentially 168 CFS from Westgate, potentially 640 acres if GL Homes goes through, they're going to give us. Potentially 400 acres from Iota Carroll, and they also said they would give us 25% of their capacity, which is about 9 CFS, which is draining that swimming pool in about 5 minutes. This is not receiving good review neither from any trail or the county right now, so I wouldn't count on that one. We could try to purchase land elsewhere, or we could also buy into the C-51 reservoir, but quite frankly, that would be quite expensive. Go ahead. Hit the next, these are culverts that we've improved. The ones that need improvement, the only ones that are left, up here on North Lake, the county's going to do those when they do the North Lake, and the county's going to do these when they do the Seminole Pratt Whitney plans. So of all these culverts that we've had to improve, they're already done.
Is there one on 60th there? What is that?
This, yeah, that's the inverted siphon, which needs to be done. That's a $2 million project.
Right.
That one's on the books. We don't know when we're going to get to that, but it's probably 5 years away, maybe.
Part of the reason why that's delayed is because we're waiting for the city of West Palm Beach to do their construction so we can piggyback on it.
Yes, we wanted to do that. We don't know if West Palm's going to be cooperative. Also, the county has sent out their bid to do 60th Street between 120th and 140th. So it might actually be a piggyback to the county contract for the road. So the county may beat West Palm to that area, but we don't know that yet. But this is another weakness in our system. All right, okay. The next one showed, this one's actually done now. When I did the slide, it was under construction. That's the bypass at Pump Station 2, so we can discharge here to here. These are all the numbers I already talked about. The conclusion is we don't need more discharge capacity, it's a regulatory constraint. Okay? Okay, that's the same numbers. I'm not gonna go through all that. I just talked about the bypass of pump station 2. Pump station 2 is at 130th, just north of Orange. We now have this large 7 by 9 foot box culvert that goes around it. When one of the problems we had at Isaac was even after we opened gates, we couldn't get water from the upper basin by gravity to the lower basin. This will allow us to do that. This just shows you how big that culvert is, and then standing inside. Yes.
If you haven't seen it, it's really quite impressive to
Yeah.
take a drive over and take a look at it.
Would you go back?
Go back. No?
Where is that at?
130th and Orange, you can see it.
Just north of Orange. Yeah.
Yep.
That's the rebar. They poured a joint there to join it up, but you can see how big it is from that. Each joint was wrapped with filter fabric so that it couldn't leak. We also have it tied in together structurally. All right, I didn't want to talk about the LA plan. That's just, it doesn't help you a whole lot. Agreement with West Palm, we've already talked about that. Moss discharges, we don't know what that's going to result in. It's possible it could give us everything we need, but I wouldn't count on that. But it could give us a decent portion. Moss is disconnected from Corbett, and it really needs to be connected for environmental reasons. Our canal goes right through it, and right now they can't get water from one to the other. So maybe one day they'll all be joined up and we'll get our 1100 CFS. That's my visionary deal and nightmare. Give us the 1100 CFS, and I don't care what you do with the rest of it.
Jay, is that the one that Gary Duncan keeps talking about, the moss?
Yes, Gary got on that one early. He pushed it. He met with state legislators. He got the cooperation of the city. A couple of the residents helped him with that. But that's probably been the largest initiative that he's taken. This is the map of that locally preferred alternative. I'm not going to go over it, except this is the map and it shows the storage area. That's the one that the gang of David is pushing. Go ahead, David, thank you. But the 168 CFS could cost zero, or it could cost $2 million, according to who pays for the structure. The 640 acres, I'm going to give you a couple cost numbers on that, because there's a number out there that's going around that is a little scary, but it's true. According to what option they selected, purchase land. The current selling price for volumetric storage in the C51 basin would say that for what we need, it would cost $30 million to $75 million. I'm not saying we're ever going to do that, but that's just for comparative purposes. Go ahead. I wish I would have stopped this slide at this point, but if you just do a perimeter levee and a ditch to get the material, just like we have in the 720 acre impoundment, you get about 40% of what you need, and the cost is $4 million. So you get $4 million. Now, I threw out a couple of different options. Oh, you're going to still do it? I threw out a couple of different options that, if you were allowed to by permitting do different things, you could get more storage. This one costs 15.6 million. This one costs 21.4 million. This one costs 27. And this one solves the problem. You dig it out and make it a lake. And this is the number that, if you want to solve the problem to meet the level of service, not to protect you against a 17-inch storm, but to protect you against a 10-inch storm, living on one basis, it's 50 million. The Indian Trail Board is not likely to select 50 million for 100% of the benefit versus 4 million for 40%. But I can't imagine the board choosing this one. But the number I keep hearing coming back at me is 50 million. Well, that's true, but I can't believe the board would actually spend that money. If you spread that over 20 years per lot, that really isn't all. that much money, and I don't remember the amortized number. Don Renzel worked it out for me, but
It's $50 a year per million.
it's 50 per year per million.
Yeah, so if our budget increases a year, in a year by $1 million, it's essentially about $50 to the residents.
So they did 2.5 million, it'd be about $125 extra per year per
Okay,
house.
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. Leo?
The developments that they're looking to do, GL and Iota Carroll, GL is willing to donate the section 640 acres to the west there.
Right.
That's what he's talking about here, is how much it,
Iota Carroll is looking to donate also in that kind of same area, if they can get the development that they want. Both of them in their development plans show that they end up doing fairly extensive excavation in order to be able to get their drainage and elevation and stuff like that. I'd like to propose that Indian Trail maybe does a deal with GL Homes, if they're approved, which I think they kind of are, that they excavate from that 640 acres to put it on their property that they're going to build on to raise their elevation. They can still end up doing their drainage, except it would be dry drainage instead of wet. And then the cost of the excavation is not pushed onto us, and the cost of the fill is not pushed onto them. They don't, instead of excavating twice as much land,
they don't think they need it.
you know.
I did have that discussion with them, they don't think they need it.
And the ALA's had that discussion also with them, and they've said that they are going to input their lakes. They don't have any need for that fill out of that 640 acres, and they have rejected the idea and the thoughts because they do want to have the lakes that they have out on their proposed plan.
Because during the dry season, that's one of the reasons that we dry up also, is because you end up with a lot more evaporation of water over that open water
We
area.
got finished.
There is a possibility we could negotiate something with them that,
Yeah.
right now, they've basically said
Yeah,
that they're not
it's-
interested in.
It looks like it's easier to dig a shovelful here and dump it there, than
Yeah.
just to dig a
They
shovelful
said
here
that
and
they-
carry it across the
With all
yard.
their lakes and that, they don't need it, they're already getting enough fill.
Right, but if they didn't
Yeah.
have to excavate in order to get their fill, so it has to be excavated anyway. If they end up getting the fill, they don't have to excavate.
Yeah, there's always a generalized discussion.
You know, money-wise, I don't know.
Phil can make you money if somebody wants it. It'll cost you if nobody wants it.
Right.
The
Yeah.
other discussion is that material, like in the M2 impoundment, it's fairly good material, not basic material, but it's fairly good material. Sometimes the material can be more valuable.
Yeah, they've dumped some of that on my road. It's not good material.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't say, it's not base material, but it's better than sand. Okay. This is just a graph of the cost at 40% of what we need. We need the 5,000 acre feet. The cost is $4 million. If you want to get it all, it's $50 million. Follow up on the legal settlement. I'm going to really go through this quick because it's really a complicated discussion, but go ahead. The basics were,
Isn't that it?
no, there should be, there you go. We used to be in the C51 basin, go ahead. And by that, in the M1 basin, 21 square miles of us were included in this. Go ahead. Keep going. There was a deal made. We were out of the C51 basin. I feel the deal was when they got the SCA1 East built, we were supposed to be able to discharge it back in. We were hoping to complete whatever was done by 2002. Keep
Are you
going.
talking about the pits? What
No,
is this?
The original design plan by the Corps of Engineers included that 21 square miles that was supposed to go down to the storage area that's on the south side of Southern.
Oh, okay.
And due to a series of events, we were cut out. Promises were begin, keep going. This is, in the background are all the actual statements that led me to the conclusions. We identified preliminary solutions, priorities were established, keep going, and the solution was a North Palm Beach County plan. That's where the LA reservoir solved our problems. We were, a PM's performance measure, then disappointment came, then integration came, they tried to do it different ways. They didn't meet their schedules, keep going, more integration, keep going. South Florida did make a good faith effort, and they were going to try to complete it by 2014. There were delays, concerns, keep going, more alternatives, and then it's what happened, I told you in 2012, they dropped the LA reservoir and we lost. So in my opinion, if this were a legal proceeding, they had a breach of contract in my opinion. But I'm not an attorney. And you, again, you might lose if you go down this route. Consideration, evaluate options.
Oops, sorry.
That was go ahead. The last slide, yay, is conditional storage. That's what hits, and that's what causes the land to stay there. We don't drain until the C-51 canal, that's State Road 7, is at 13.0 on one side and 11.2 on the other side. And that is, you know, everybody's under control at that point, except for Indian Trail. Royal Palm can play golf. I mean, it's just not fair. And we're working on getting that adjusted. And that should be the last one, I think. Is
Jay,
it?
yeah, that's it. One thing I want people to understand